Nuck is still alive. That one moment flipped everything we thought we knew about the Chi, and now, as we head into season 8, the streets are rumbling with more questions than answers. What really happened in the finale? Why did Alicia go out like that? And if Nuck survived, what else has been kept from us? The Chi season 8 isn't just coming, it's coming with heat, vengeance, and decisions that could break everything wide open. With Showtime officially renewing the series and whispers of season 9 already confirmed, this isn't just a continuation, it's a full-blown reckoning. And we're diving into everything. The release date, what the trailer reveals, and how the storylines are about to explode. Buckle up, this is the Chi like we've never seen before. Asterisk. Let's start with the biggest shock that's got fans, spiraling Nuck. The man we all assumed was dead after the chaos of season 7 is not only alive, but somehow still moving in silence. The trailer tease confirms what many suspected but couldn't believe. He's back. And the way this revelation is dropped so casually, almost hidden, is what makes it more terrifying. If Nuck's still breathing, it means revenge is on the menu. Because let's be honest, Nuck doesn't just disappear, and he definitely doesn't forget. His reappearance changes everything we thought we knew about the power dynamics going into season 8. It puts characters like Dada, Emmett, and even Victor on high alert. Because if there's one thing we've learned in the Chi, it's that unfinished business never stays buried. But that wasn't the only bombshell from the finale. Alicia's sudden and brutal death had fans stunned, angry, and heartbroken. Why her? Why now? And more importantly, why like that? Alicia wasn't just a character you could write off. She was building something, planning something bigger. She had influence, ambition, and secrets. And just when it looked like she might finally claim her power, she's taken out in a way that felt like a warning. The fact that her death came so swiftly without resolution or revenge, a lot of questions. Was it Dada's final move to maintain dominance? Or is someone else pulling strings behind the scenes? The writers have always been known for blindsiding us, but this one hurt, because Alicia's story felt far from over. And while all this chaos unfolds, Showtime made it official, season 8 is not the end. Season 9 is already confirmed. That changes the stakes completely. We're not just watching a climax, we're watching a setup, a power shift, a preparation for a deeper war. With that early renewal comes a level of confidence from the network that the Chi isn't running out of steam, it's just getting started. And that tells us the writers are building something long-term. The characters we've followed, feared, and fallen for are being pushed into places they might not come back from. Relationships will shatter, alliances will twist, and with every return, every betrayal, the story tightens its grip. The trailer doesn't show much, but what it does give us is pure tension. We see Emmett looking over his shoulder like someone's hunting him. We catch a glimpse of Victor, standing alone in a dark alley, haunted by something we can't see. Even Kesha, usually grounded, looks unsettled, like the future she thought she could protect is slipping out of her hands. These quick flashes aren't just visual cues, they're warnings. Season 8 is coming with pressure. It's no longer about survival. It's about control. And in the Chi, control always comes at a cost. What makes the Chi different is that the city itself, the south side of Chicago, is a character too. And in season 8, it feels like the city's voice is louder than ever. Communities are shifting. Territory lines are blurring. The codes that used to govern loyalty are fading. With Nuck alive, Alicia gone, and so many storylines ready to collide, the South Side becomes more dangerous and more alive than we've ever seen it. And as fans, we know one thing: no one's safe. Because in the Chi, peace is always temporary and payback is always personal. Asterisk, the aftermath of Alicia's death is more than just emotional, it's political. Her loss isn't just a tragedy for her inner circle. It's a signal to every player on the board that no one is untouchable. That one brutal moment dismantled everything she was building. She wasn't just a voice of ambition, she was a strategist, quietly creating influence while others made noise. Her sudden elimination leaves a power vacuum, and that void is already creating ripples. Characters like Rosaline and Tracy May try to step into her shoes. But the question is, do they have the grit to survive? What comes next? Because Alicia's fall wasn't just an accident, it was a message. And someone made sure it was delivered with finality. But who ordered it? Was it Dada again, tightening his grip? Or someone new? Someone we haven't even considered yet? Who's finally ready to reveal themselves? That mystery alone could shape the entire tone of season 8. Meanwhile, Dada is still standing. Somehow, after everything, after all the betrayals, the near deaths, the mounting enemies, he's still managing to hold on. but the cracks are showing. He's losing loyalty fast, and with Nuck's possible return, he's not just dealing with outside threats. He's about to face ghosts of his own making. The streets are talking, and his name doesn't carry the same fear it used to. People are plotting, old enemies are resurfacing. Even those close to him are starting to rethink their allegiance. What happens when a man built on fear starts losing that fear? He becomes unpredictable, dangerous. And that's exactly the energy Dada is bringing into Season 8. He knows the walls are closing in, and that makes him even more volatile. If he goes down, he's not going alone. He's going to make sure he takes someone with him, maybe even someone we never saw coming. Emmett, on the other hand, is stuck in a war he never wanted to fight. He's tried again and again to create peace, to protect his family, to live outside the violence, but this time, the violence is coming to him. In the trailer, there's a shift in Emmett's energy. Something more raw, more desperate. We see it in his eyes. He's tired of running. He's tired of watching people he loves get caught in the crossfire. Season 8 might be the moment he finally snaps. And when Emmett snaps, it won't be pretty. He's not built like Dada, he's not as ruthless. But when cornered, he becomes something else entirely. And that transformation is going to change. The game, he might lose more than he wins. But one thing's for sure, Emmett is done being the nice guy. Then there's Kesha. Her journey has always been one of healing, finding strength through unimaginable trauma. But this season, healing may no longer be enough. She's a mother now. And that means her decisions carry even more weight. We can sense in the brief trailer flashes that she's feeling the pressure, the fear, the realization that no matter how hard she tries to move forward, the past keeps clawing back. And when those you love are in danger, choices become much harder. Kesha may be forced to cross lines she swore she never would. Protecting her family could mean betraying someone else. And in the Chi, every decision comes back around. Her arc in Season 8 could be the most heartbreaking and the most powerful. As for Victor, his transformation from a troubled street figure to a hopeful political voice has been one of the most complex stories on the show. But hope is fragile in a city like this. In Season 7, we saw glimpses of the old Victor resurfacing. The one who knew how to survive before he knew how to lead. In Season 8, he may have to become both. His alliances are thin. His influence is under threat. And he's being pulled in every direction. Loyalty, love, ambition, and vengeance. The question isn't whether Victor will break, it's when. And when he does, what kind of man will he become? The community once believed in him. But belief can vanish in a heartbeat if you make the wrong move. Victor's decisions this season could either bring change or collapse everything he tried to build. And threading through it all is the city itself. Watching, reacting, breathing. The Chi has always used its setting not just as a backdrop, but as a force. And this season, the city feels angry, tired, on edge. There's a restlessness in every corner, and the tension is climbing like smoke before a fire. There are whispers of new gangs, old vendettas, fresh alliances. The young are growing bolder. The old are getting desperate. And somewhere in the middle, characters we love are about to be forced to choose sides or be consumed. Because in the Chi, neutrality isn't safety. It's a target. With all eyes now fixed on Nuck's unexpected return, Season 8 instantly transforms into a battlefield of the past versus the present. Nuck's presence alone threatens to unravel every fragile alliance formed since his presumed exit. Think about what this really means. If he was alive all along, then what else was orchestrated behind the scenes? Who helped him stay hidden? Who knew he wasn't dead and chose to stay quiet? And most importantly, what's his mission now? Because a man like Nuck doesn't come back for peace. He returns for power, for payback, and for blood. And you can already feel that quiet, creeping dread taking over the trailer's atmosphere. His enemies thought they could move on. They rebuilt their lives, reorganized the streets, and created new lines of control. But with Nuck in the picture again, everything must be reevaluated. No one is safe, and no trust is guaranteed. This revelation could also send Dada into a spiral. For all his brutality and calculated moves, Dada thrives on control. That's how he's lasted this long, by staying several steps ahead. But Nuck's reemergence represents a major blind spot. It shows he didn't know everything, that someone outplayed him. And for a man like Dada, that's not just a threat, it's humiliation. He'll respond the only way he knows how, with violence, intimidation, and maybe even desperation. The pressure on him this season is unprecedented. His empire is shrinking. He's being hunted from all sides by the law, by former allies, by ghosts. But Dada doesn't go down easy. The more threatened he feels, the more dangerous he becomes. His enemies might think they've got the upper hand, but Dada's survival instincts are vicious. He'll burn bridges, expose secrets, and turn allies against each other if it means keeping his grip. That's why this season will feel so unpredictable, because no one knows what Dada will do next. Not even Dada himself. At the same time, we need to talk about Jake. He's been growing, changing, trying to step into his own identity outside of the chaos around him. But now, he's getting pulled right back into the storm, with friends turning into enemies and enemies becoming allies. Jake has to navigate a minefield where every step could cost him. The choices he makes this season will either protect his future or destroy it. And the heartbreaking part is, he might not even realize which path he's choosing until it's too late. He's trying to love, to grow, to move forward, but the chi doesn't always allow that, especially for someone so close to the fire. Jake might be the key to stopping a war, the spark that lights it. We also can't ignore the ripple effects of Alicia's death on the women of the chi. Her absence leaves more than a void, creates new burdens for those left behind. Rosaline is now forced to make moves she might not be ready for. She's always played the game behind the scenes, but now she has no choice but to step into the open. That shift changes her entire trajectory. Will she become a leader, or will the spotlight expose her weaknesses? Then there's Tracy, who's always walked the line between community activism and survival politics. Alicia's death could push her into dangerous territory, forcing her to pick a side in a war she's tried to avoid. And Kesha, already carrying the weight of motherhood and survival, now has to live in a world where women like Alicia are targeted and erased. The emotional toll is rising, and the pressure is unbearable. These women are done waiting. Season 8 will show us what happens when they stop surviving and start fighting back. Let's not forget Papa. His spiritual journey has been evolving over time, but something about this upcoming season feels different. You can feel the disillusionment creeping in, the loss of faith, the questioning of morality, the pull toward something darker. After everything he's seen, death, betrayal, injustice, he's starting to ask the hard questions. Where is God in all this? What's the point of doing the right thing when the wrong people keep winning? Papa has always been the moral compass for his friends, the voice of reason in the madness. But now, that compass is spinning. His grief might drive him to make decisions that go against everything he's ever believed in. And if he crosses that line, will there be any way back? Through all of this, the question looming largest is, who's really in charge? With Nuck alive, Alicia dead, and Dada unstable, power is up for grabs. Season 8 is a war for control, just of territory, but of narratives, futures, and survival. And unlike previous seasons, there's no clear path forward. Every character is being tested. Every choice matters. Loyalties will be shattered. Unexpected alliances will be formed. And in a city where secrets are currency and silence is survival, one wrong word could be the end. Asterisk. As we move deeper into the chaos of the Cheese Season 8, it's clear nothing is what it seems. And the biggest threat this season might not come from who you expect. It's not just Nuck or Dada or the enemies we already know. It's the hidden players, the ones watching quietly, moving in silence, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. There are power brokers in the shadows, people with influence that stretches beyond street corners and neighborhoods. People who don't need to pull a trigger to kill your future, they can erase you with one deal, one betrayal, one lie. And Season 8 is going to reveal just how deep the game really goes. We've always known the Chi was about survival. But now, survival means outsmarting a system that was never built to protect you. And with every step forward, our characters are discovering just how dangerous hope can be. Victor's political rise is one of the clearest examples. For a while, it looked like he might finally be able to create real change, real safety, the community. But that dream is starting to crumble. The people backing him aren't saints. They have their own agenda. And Victor, for all his sincerity, is beginning to realize that being in power doesn't mean being in control. He's being asked to compromise more than he ever thought he would, to turn a blind eye, to stay silent when he should speak out. And the more he tries to hold on to his ideals, the more isolated he becomes. His supporters are disappearing, his enemies are multiplying, and his faith in himself is being tested with every passing day. Will he stay true to the man he promised to be? Or will he become just another face in the cycle of corruption? That's the terrifying choice Season 8 is forcing him to confront. Meanwhile, there's something dark building in the younger generation. Kids who once looked up to characters like Emmett, Jake, and Papa are now looking elsewhere for strength, for power, for belonging. They see the world for what it is, cold, unjust, and unpredictable. And they're not interested in waiting for change. They're ready to take it. But that hunger, that desperation, is turning them into something else. A new wave is coming in. It's angry, bold, and reckless. These young voices aren't just background noise anymore. They're becoming a force of their own, and they're willing to go further than anyone else to make themselves heard. Season 8 is setting up a generational shift, one that could tear the community apart or spark a revolution, and the older characters are starting to realize that their grip on the future is slipping fast. One of the most emotional undercurrents of this season comes from the relationships between the characters, who have tried over and over again to choose love over violence. Emmett and Kesha, for instance, have fought tooth and nail to keep their family together, to find peace in the middle of the storm. But peace comes at a cost. Emmett is constantly being dragged back into the game, and Kesha's patience is running thin. There's love, their real love, but it's being tested in ways they never expected. One wrong move, one bad decision, and everything they've built could fall apart. It's heartbreaking because we want them to make it, we want them to win. But the Chi doesn't offer easy victories. And this season, the pressure might be too much. Their relationship is hanging by a thread. And if it snaps, it won't just break their hearts, it could break them as people. Even secondary characters are stepping into the spotlight this season. People we thought were background players are suddenly becoming key to the larger story. People like Zay, like Tiara, even characters from seasons past. There's a sense that everyone is being drawn back into the center. No one is safe. No one is safe. One is forgotten. And that's what makes this season so suspenseful. You don't know where the next twist is coming from. A quiet scene can explode into violence. A simple conversation can turn into a betrayal. And people you trust can flip in a heartbeat. It's this constant tension that makes the Chi feel so alive, so real, so dangerous. The community, once a source of strength, is now fractured. Suspicion is everywhere. People are looking over their shoulders, second-guessing every interaction, wondering who's still loyal and who's already crossed the line. And the beauty of the Chi is how it shows that this paranoia doesn't just come from the streets, it comes from trauma, from loss, from fear. These characters have been through too much. They've buried friends, survived betrayals, lost faith in systems meant to protect them, and now, as they stand on the edge of another war, the weight of that history is unbearable. They're not just fighting enemies, they're fighting ghosts. And the question is, how long can they keep going before they break? But there's also resilience, a fire that refuses to die. Season 8 might be the darkest yet, but there are still sparks of hope. In quiet moments of connection, in small acts of defiance, in the way characters refuse to give up on each other, even when it would be easier to walk away. That's what keeps us watching. That's what keeps us invested. Because no matter how hard the fight gets, we want them to win, to heal, to find a way forward. Now, everything is in motion, and there's no turning back. The Chi Season 8 is barreling toward a storm of consequences, and the foundation of every character's life is beginning to crack. The trailer might be short, but its silence speaks volumes. It's not explosions or shouting that make it chilling, it's the stillness before impact. The glances exchanged, the tight-lipped expressions, the sound of breath held just a second too long. That's how you know something big is coming. And when it does, it won't be just one storyline that changes idol, be all of them. Because the Chi doesn't isolate its chaos, it spreads. It spreads it. One death leads to another secret. One betrayal triggers an entire collapse. The series has always woven its narrative like a web, and now we're watching the final strands tighten. The biggest unknown is who won't survive. Season 8 is setting up a blood price and we can feel it coming. The show is dropping too many clues, making us care too deeply, only to remind us that in this world, survival is never promised. Characters we love are on the edge. Emmett is one wrong step away from losing everything. Victor is walking a political tightrope with knives on both sides. Kesha's safety is no longer just hers, it's tied to her son's future. Papa is unraveling under pressure that his faith can no longer carry. And Dada is more dangerous than ever. He may be losing ground, but a wounded king is often the most vicious. If this really is the beginning of his fall, he will make sure everyone around him bleeds before he goes. And then there's Nuck, the biggest wild card of them all. His return isn't just shocking, it's symbolic. It means that ghosts don't Stay buried in the chi, the past always finds a way back. Whether it's old enemies, unresolved trauma, or unfinished business, nothing stays silent forever. Nuck doesn't need to say a word. His presence alone reshuffles every player on the board. He's the reminder that this story never forgets. And as fans, we have to ask, if Nuck is alive, who else could be? What other secrets have we accepted as truth that might be lies? That's the unsettling brilliance of Season 8 IT makes us question everything we thought was solid. It teaches us that survival doesn't always mean victory. Sometimes, it just means being ready for the next hit. The tone of this season is different, heavier, more reflective, but also more urgent. Time feels like it's running out. Every episode will feel like a countdown, not just to some explosive finale, but two personal reckonings, two decisions that cannot be undone. And even with a confirmed Season 9, we can already sense that Season 8 will be a turning point. This isn't just a build-up, it's a fracture. A moment in the story where everything breaks, and what's rebuilt afterward will be unrecognizable. Some characters may rise from it stronger, colder, more ruthless. Others may fall apart entirely, but no one will be the same. Not after this. And through it all, the city watches. The South Side breathes, listens, remembers. The Chi has never just been about the violence or the politics, it's been about people, about community, about legacy. That's why this show hits so hard. It forces us to care, to worry, to hope. And in Season 8, that hope will be tested like never before. The writing is sharper, the stakes are higher, and the emotional weight of every moment is impossible to ignore. This isn't just another chapter, it's a reckoning. So when the new season drops, be ready, because the is coming for us all, and no one escapes untouched.